What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. All three big boys have their pre-sales up now, and the competition is very fierce. Tier 0, Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily, Gamer's Choice, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily is doing code What'sGood10 for 10% off for an extra level of discount. Of course, that supports the channel directly when you use that code. And looking through, they have Ash Blossom at $15, and I did think yesterday when Ash debuted, this should be a little bit cheaper, but then looking through how Ash was holding and the ultra rares were trying to stick up in price versus all the other Ashes, despite that structure deck also around the bin this month. I do think a lot of people are going to get that prismatic Ash and burn and turn a 10, basically covering the cost at the distro level from the major vendors, so you'll see a huge supply of these Ash Blossoms out there. So I do agree with lowering the price, which Tier 0 has also done very well at $11.50, and that free international shipping if you're getting to 60 pounds. So right now, Tier 0 is winning big on this, but they're losing in other venues such as Pot of Prosperity being 40. I understand this. They help a lot of regions, like come to Brazil where our cards stay in the port for 4 to 6 months, and it's not a joke how they actually are just so thirsty for singles. Tier 0 is a huge help to Central America, South America, and the regions that just have trouble getting cards. But they do have Forbidden Droplet down to 23. They also have Lightning Storm at 17.25. Be aware, their site is very slow right now, just like it was with Power of the Elements, which is a little frustrating, but all the traffic is shoving through. They did pay for up to bandwidth, and they tried to solve the problem. So moving forward, they plan with Darkwing Blast to actually get a new site that should handle these kinds of issues and traffics, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Sometimes the best laid plans, they go awry. Now, Gamer's Choice has adapted some prices, looking through like they have their Ash down to 15 also, but they've had to up a lot of prices versus their initial pre-sales to just try to keep stock. They have sold a lot of their cards. So I like the competition Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily is bringing, even though a lot of things are similarly priced. They have that extra discount code, and I do like the deck cores from pretty much everybody at this point, which Tier 0 is winning a little bit on the branded, but versus the discount, you'll have to do the calculations. I think it actually ends up being very similar versus that. So basically buy from who you want. Do remember though, Megatins, most opened set of the year. Often we see certain pre-sales get crushed, but I think in this range that there's a lot of really good guessing by these three that should help the market get a starting point to where people, if they do undercut a lot of the singles, some of these still might be pretty good deals long term versus how it turns out. Remember, the secret rares are about 1 per case ratio, if not shorted, and you might have shorts with the DM secret rares, which the OCG vendors might also come in and be buying versus the prices over there, as we'll talk about some other cards that have been impacted by that throughout the market watch. But let me know what you think about the pre-sales. Too expensive? Do they seem really good? I've seen a lot of positive reception to initial pricing here, where people thought Pot of Prosperity would be $50. I told you it would be in the 30s. Pretty much everybody's priced it in the 30s, at least using a discount code that even Tier 0s gets down there. But what do you think of the prices on everything? Everybody's doing a really good job, in my opinion, on the estimated value pull chop up, not being greedy, and stuff like Underworld Goddess down to $4. I've seen a lot of people saying that one's going to be more, but again, there's so many good secrets, and at 1 average per case, clumping will happen. Some people get amazing, crazy tins. I'm sure Team Sam will post some of those, where other people are going to get, you know, just dog duty tins. And you're going to have clumping effect product and all that when you're busting open sealed. So keep that in mind with the singles, why singles are pretty darn good to go in for on this. Tactical Masters has a lot of buyouts, and speaking of OCG tipping their toe into their market, Lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, I'm stumbling all the words. This card continues to go on up in price. It's kind of crazy. 8 listings, it's pushing towards $90, and we also saw Ariana start to go up, but the quantities are at least coming back a bit. And then going through, Runic's getting a ton of hype. A lot of the pros are warning about this deck, saying don't show up to this regional, oh, this deck is so bad with Mystic Mind in the format, all these different things. But Runic seems like a super serious force and contender. At least a lot of the pros are leading that on. We'll see how it plays out at events this week. weekend and moving forward. But man, it's a lot of warning signs are coming that Runic's going to be a deck you have to play against. And then looking through the lower end, Welcome Labyrinth got bought out towards $20 and only has 26 listings left. So the Labyrinth deck is being played around with a bit by people in the market, even though it's not showing up result-wise so much. And you see other versions of the Ultra starting to kind of tip up as people, they just don't want to bust open the sealed. The sealed is bottoming out and the singles are going up. What does that tell you? Especially with collector rares that are 1 per 4 case for the specific single on average. You're pulling 4 collector rares per case, and there's 15 different ones, so you have to open 4 cases to see a specific single on average. And with all these singles starting to kind of bobble upwards and get poked at, nobody wants to open the set either, but there is starting to be better value here versus the box going down, so kind of start to play around with the thought of that as well, in my opinion. Not a financial advisor channel, I don't know the future prices, sealed, etc., but whenever I see singles get gone in like this, and I think a majority of it was, everyone's looking at Megatin singles, I'm gonna go over here, this highly underutilized product, it might start to get busted open a little more when you have ultras like this in a side set. Going through Power of the Elements, a lot of vendors at first assumed a ton of the value would be in the Ultras, and as Sprite Blue tends to lose a bit of value as people look forward to Shizu tier element, and you do have this sticking up in price, I'm noticing some of the Ultras continue to creep up, like Garura is actually towards a market price of 14, and last we covered it went from 10 to 12, now towards 14. Sprite Elf is also baby bumping up in price and slowly going up, kind of taking the value a little bit there on the bottom end of the deck. So it's very interesting to see what's going up and how people are targeting certain things, like the Kurikara also went up here, the other market to watch, we covered that. So many different things are moving around also in Power of the Elements while all the eyes are on the Megatins. Evenly matched. Remember that Charmer structure deck reprint we never got? It's looking like the dual power version is getting bought out, the Ghost from the past version is getting lower on quantities, and the secret rares are insanely low on quantities and also going up versus their market price. Be aware, people are kind of teching this here and there, using it, and without a reprint yet, well, here we are, the card's going a little crazy. And when I say reprint yet, it's obviously had multiple reprints. I mean an easy access one Konami. Herald of the Orange Light, almost every single version of this is $10 and extremely low on quantities. This is played in a Shizu tier laments, and people are looking forward to that Shizu version. The top end we covered going up, but every single one being 10/ up, you might have some more money than you thought you had if you've got these, and be picking them out of bulk if you weren't already. Now, Des Frog is another thing being played in a Shizu tier lament that you might not have known. Well, not a Shizu, actually branded tier lament. Sorry, getting ahead of myself in formats. But you use branded and high spirits, you're able to reveal the fusion, reveal the monster, send 1 level 8 fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard with the same type, 2500 attack and defense. So you're able to send Des Frog for, you know, the tier element plays in branded tier element. It's kind of cute. The DR3 version was going to be way easier to buy out, but the fact that every single version of this common is just spiking like crazy, and if you want a near mint, which for your extra deck you still do near mint, because you know you can get, if that card's noticeable, even if you're not playing the pot cards that banish from the extra deck, you could still get dinged by a judge for it. They start at about $4/$3 with free shipping. So the fact that this has just climbed to 3 is hilarious. Be picking it out of bulk. Maybe you had some extra money if you collected frog cards. I imagine somebody out there just has a binder of this fully that never got rid of it because it was too cheap to, and they're like, finally! Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And again, I want to hear what you guys think of the Megatins. Of course, it's the most open product of the year. Competition will be fierce, and we've already seen the competition raise prices versus the initial gamer's choice, to where some vendors are sticking up here. Like I've noticed the prices kind of mimic a bit of what Gamer's Choice did while choosing certain ones cheaper, and then Gamer's Choice coming down. So we're even seeing competition between the big 3 already, and I've got to think that some of these cards, of course, a majority of these cards will be going down, but some of the top end might get targeted early, and we'll have to wait for, you know, TCG player to not be on pre-sale mode to see the true competition of the set, where the floodgates open and we have all the competition and listings. So, what do you guys think of the pre-sales? That's what I really want to hear in the comment sections. Thanks for watching, everybody.